Hey everyone, Chris here for Thomann's Guitars and Basses. I am here at CF Martin & Co. in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, and I'm joined by Thomas Ripsam, which is a great honor. First of all, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for being here.
And thanks for your hospitality.
Absolutely.
Your factory and then the whole Martin facility is just the nicest place to be. We're in the museum, and we will show you definitely some beautiful guitars here. You'll see some pictures and close-ups of those. But first of all, I wanted to ask you, Thomas, you are the CEO for about 2 years now, right?
That's correct. I started in the summer of 21, so almost 2 years, and it's been a great time so far.
And I still hear some people being surprised, like, "Oh wow, Chris is not the CEO anymore." And I wanted to ask you, like, how did that go? How did you end up in this position, and how's your connection to Martin?
Sure. So first of all, Chris is the chairman now of the board. He obviously is the primary owner of the business with the family. So he's still around, and we work together very closely. But I joined almost 2 years ago, and I'm originally from Germany, actually from the south of Germany, from a city called Ulm. For those of you who don't know, that's in the south of Germany between Stuttgart and Munich, in that area. And after college, I came to the US, so I have lived here for a long time. I worked outside of the music industry before I joined Martin, and helped companies navigate their biggest problems and figure out how to move into the future. But I'm also a musician. I love music, I love guitars, fretted instruments more broadly, since my teens. And I had known about Martin guitars for a long time. Actually, my first real acoustic was a Martin guitar, an MC68.
Okay.
And so when this opportunity came about, it was like a dream come true for me, because I knew about the company. I think there's so much going on in the industry, and what excited me also was to become part of such an iconic brand and team, but work towards the future while embracing the past. And so it's been a great journey so far. The team here is fantastic, and everybody has been very welcoming, the industry as a whole. And I'm just super excited to be here and be part of the team.
What would be, like, do you have favorite Martins? Ones that you always gravitate towards or always grab when you play or write?
I have several Martins, and I like to play them all, to be honest. Right now I play an authentic 1937 D28. I play that a lot.
Wow.
But I do like to rotate. Actually, my first one, as I mentioned, was an MC68. And that's probably the closest to my heart, because it's been the longest with me and the family, and have a real, very close connection. But really, I like the variety that Martin brings, and so I like to play guitars, so I like to try them all.
Oh yeah, of course. How could you say no, right?
Exactly.
Around all these beauties. You just brought out an album, right? I wanted to ask you, like, can you share like the band name, title,
Sure.
How people can find it?
Yeah. The band name is called Seeds of Imagination.
Okay.
And there are 2 albums out in the public. The most recent one is called Liechtenstein.
Wow.
And it's about a castle that I grew up pretty close to, about an hour away. And to me, it was always a magical place. So it's a castle that really exists. And so the album is all about the castle theme, all the songs. And it just came out March 10. And I'm really excited. Lots of acoustic guitars on it, but also electric guitars, and I did everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you mentioned tradition. Obviously, that's one of the most important things when we're talking about Martin.
Yes.
So many years and so many milestones in the history, and so many like super famous and influential artists that played. those famous and influential models that just came out over the years. How would you describe the way to success for Martin and CF Martin? Do you think it was just the right timing? Clearly there's a business perspective. How would you?
I think there are a few things that come to mind. Number one is probably the focus on quality around the craftsmanship and the continuous improvement that goes with that. I remember when I started here and I asked, "Where's the quality department?" And people almost laughed because they said, everybody in this company is our quality department, which just means there's so much attention, but experience and craftsmanship that our people apply to everything they do. And when it comes to building instruments and high quality instruments, one of the best in the world, I believe, it's because of the people we have and the attention they bring to any individual instrument to make the best sounding, best looking, and also best playing instrument possible. So that's one, focus on quality. I do think the other one is the focus on people. People are really at the heart of everything we do. And we invest a lot of time and effort in our people, but we also invest a lot of time and effort in relationships with our partners. It's all about the long game for us, and that means relationship really matters. The working together and working as a team, including our partners, really matters a lot to us. So I would say focus on people is really important. And then the other thing you did mention, was it just good timing? I think over 190 years, you can be lucky once, but to get going,
good point.
There's more than luck. But I do think if you think about that history and what happened in the industry during that time, there were several booms that happened, right? A few. And one thing that I do think is part of the Martin essence, that they've been able to have a good pulse on what's going on in the world over an incredibly long period of time. And it allowed the company to adapt and evolve. Think about ukes, right? When the ukes came, or mandolins at some point, or the folk boom. But a big part was not just to have instruments, but to have instruments that mean something to the world, which means you need to be connected, right? And that is evolving over time. So those are some of the things I would mention.
There's this balance between tradition, trying to appeal to those fans who definitely love all the 30s and 40s and even earlier specs of Martin guitars, but also leaning towards the future and making it sustainable and making sure that guitar production is going to be a thing for a longer time. How do you think is the balance right? Is it a 50-50, or is it just certain things that you want to modernize and certain things that must stay as they are?
Yeah. I think it's less about numbers, but Chris Martin sometimes says it's having one foot in the past and one foot in the future, which means over this incredible history that Martin had, there's so much that we look at that happened that is still interesting, attractive. Think about the Authentic series that I mentioned earlier. We know there's a population out there of consumers that really value that historic element. But we also continuously pay attention to what the consumers tell us, right? Or what our channel partners tell us, or partners tell us, what artists tell us about what would be valuable. And I think it's very clear that when you look at the the musician base, the player base today, it's a pretty diverse base, right? You have different types of people in the mix that value sometimes different things. Which led us to, for example, the SC model. That was really based on taking feedback from consumers, thinking about, what is an instrument that really adds to the Martin mix without just repeating some of the things that you get from other models, but it still has a Martin sound. And the quality. So it is I think it's continuously evolving, but of course we're gonna continue to leverage things that work, right? But there's so much opportunity out there. At least that's my perspective, and that's the good thing about our industry. There's no shortage of opportunities. You just have to pick the ones that fit with who you are, right, with your essence. And so that's how we approach it.
What are your sources of information? Like you could focus on social media reactions. You could focus on like personal, like emails maybe, or on retailers, on the Martin members club. So many ways to gather information and reaction. What are your focuses on there?
Well, it's a very holistic approach, I would say. We refer to it as, when we think about the consumer, there's a whole ecosystem of institutions, sources of information that consumers use, and all those are valuable for us as well. So sometimes social media clearly is a big aspect of getting feedback. Our partners, people we collaborate with to sell or engage with consumers, we also get feedback from those, right? We get feedback from artists. There are a lot of different sources that we use. And then the question obviously is, what do you do with all that information? Because ultimately, there's only a limited set of things that you really can do. But to your question, there's a lot of possibility to get information from different channels, and we try to use them all.
Yeah. Right. I've heard, haven't seen yet, but we will do the factory tour. Mm-hmm. I know that you guys have these modern machines to ensure sustainability, like a laser cutter to cut out body tops and all the body parts, all the make sure that the necks are cut out in a way that the least amount of wood gets wasted.
Yes.
You have the painting booths, like with those robots, and the buffing robots.
Yeah, the buffing robots.
To make sure, again, the same thing. How did that become a part of the building process, which is, for the most part, a very
labor-intensive.
Traditional. Traditional.
Well, I think Martin, from the inception of the company, always used tools, and the tools just changed with time. And we certainly use machines, sometimes because we can improve the quality of what we do. Sometimes it's also ergonomics, right? To make the work environment safer and healthier for our coworkers. But what's also important is we at every step, we are very deliberate about whether we should use machine or a person. And in the end, people are still involved throughout the whole process, right? But it's a little bit similar to your question about, where do you get your sources of information, and how do you evolve the instruments? It's also, we look at a variety of inputs and sources to think about how we design and make the instruments and our strings as well. And it's continuously evolving. And now with machine learning, robotics, AI, artificial intelligence, all these things now have matured so much that we will take advantage of that. If it helps us to improve the quality or improve our instruments. And you also mentioned sustainability. Sustainability is a very important part of everything we do. And frankly, it's a really important priority for our company to be a sustainable company. And when we think about sustainability, it's not just what some people may think, not just the environment. That is one of the areas we focus on, but it's also the community, right? So we are part of a community, and how do we create an environment within the community we are here, or within the music industry, that is responsible and sustainable. And then with our people, right? Our people and our partners, back to the relationship and how we take care of people and the relationships. It's with a sustainability mindset, right? Responsibility and sustainability. So those are the areas that we focus on. Obviously, tone width is a big topic. That's more the environment. And whenever we use materials now, we always approach the use with a sustainability mindset as well, right? So if we take from the environment, what do we do to either replenish, right, or find alternatives to minimize the negative impact, and ideally create more positive impact.
How could you imagine the near future?
There will definitely be new models, because we always continue to do that. But in general, I mean, near term, I think we will continue with what we've been doing. Think about our incredible artist roster that continues to grow. We work very closely with artists. So that's a big area of focus. Probably more on the partnership side, so finding new and innovative partnerships to add and create mutually beneficial things to do. But I don't think you will see a big swing away from who we are, what we do. But a lot of the things we're doing, it's really looking at opportunities to capitalize on that fit within who we are, right? So you probably will not see us getting into different or new categories.
Martin harps.
Exactly. I can almost guarantee you that's not going to happen.
Not within 2 years.
Yes. But it also speaks to, there's just so much opportunity within our space, and getting closer to the consumer, thinking about the channels and our suppliers and new products, artists, lots of opportunity, and that's kind of what we are focused on near term. Last year, we did quite a bit of work to better understand our brand and what we stand for. And what we found through our research, especially when we talked to existing people that know us, and they talked about what the relationship with our brand does to them. There was a lot about the experience they have when they use our instruments to do what they want to do. And there was a lot about unleashing the creativity, right? Unleashing the artist. And so that's definitely something that we will focus more on, right? How do we help our consumers, regardless who you are and where you are on the spectrum, how do we help our consumers to get the most out of an SC or a traditional model? It doesn't matter. But that was something that was very energizing for us. This emotional connection. They talked a lot about the personality of our instruments and how it kind of complements their own personality. So those were great things, and there's so much power in that, and we'll harness that more.
That's something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Thomas, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely, and I hope you enjoy the tour, the factory tour.
We will.
And thanks for being here.
Amazing. You guys take it easy, of course. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell if you enjoy these videos. hit us up in the comment section below if you have any questions. We'll make sure to figure out what the answer is and come back to you, of course, as always. You guys take it easy. Bye-bye.
Thank you.